The black line, you talk to a lot of swimmers and they're quite scarred from that image. It's so concentrated and you're just following this line that goes nowhere. Whereas for me, it feels like home. Going up and down that black line was just absolute freedom. You know exactly where you're going. It just focuses you in, keeping you on track. That's what it is for me. Just follow this black line. That's all you have to do is just keep on track and you can't get lost. I was 16 years of age at high school. One of my friends at school took his own life. Prior to that point, I have no memory of having suicidal thoughts or even depressive thoughts. I don't know what it was that he had done it that I wanted out as well. Not really knowing what to do about that and not feeling comfortable to talk to anyone or to get help, I just threw myself into my sport. The dark suicidal depressive thoughts slipped to the back of my mind. They were still within me, not an issue for me. And in 2012, my marriage broke down. That brought up everything again. What's the point of life? Why am I here? Why do I have to be here? Belmont to me is like the black line in the pool. It's home. It was my safe place. For a number of years when I had multiple hospital admissions, it was where I went when I wasn't coping with life by myself. I always felt safe around the staff. They never pushed you to talk if you didn't want to talk, but if you did want to talk, they were there. And it was just a very safe environment. Even now, and I haven't been in hospital for nearly 2 years, it's nice to know that it's still there and that if things for some reason came crashing down again, it's going to be there if I need it. You don't have to be in a corner rocking back and forward before you get some help. If you do notice that things don't feel right or that you do have negative thoughts more than comfortable with, absolutely you should be talking to someone. For the last 18 months I've been completely off medication. That's great. The thoughts are still there. The key thing that allowed me to come off my meds was getting to that point of acceptance that it's a part of me and that I need to learn to live with it. I see it as superpowers. You know, my superpower is that I've got bipolar. So in those times of when it's good, I'm highly functioning and can work ridiculous hours and get a whole lot of stuff done. So that's my superpower. Now that I'm at a point where I'm managing my mental health well, the pool plays a big part in that, centering me, and you just keep following the black line. It's great.
People's first reaction to just say, oh, you must be so happy, look at her, she's beautiful, you know. Don't you just feel that love, that newborn love? And I felt really guilty because I wasn't feeling that strong connection. There was this baby and I was her mother, but there was nothing else. My husband and I got married. We were always wanting to start a family, couldn't wait. We fell pregnant really easily. Charlotte was born and I was just waiting for this surge of love and excitement, and it was more just anxiety. I've got this baby, I've got to look after her. I'm not sure what I'm meant to be doing. I'd read every book. I wasn't sleeping. Even when the baby was sleeping, I couldn't switch off and go to sleep. And I just felt like I was drowning. I felt like a failure, you know, how can everyone else do this and I'm the one that can't? I've done everything else and achieved a lot in my life. Why can't I do this? I entertained, met numerous times, I guess, ending my life. I truly believed that they would be better off without me. And that was the hardest time for me. The GP identified that something wasn't right and that I wasn't coping, and perhaps I had postnatal depression. She actually knew a contact at Belmont Hospital. Sat down with Mary, who was lovely. She just said, look, I think you need to come in for an admission. We'll look at trying to get you to some sleep and, we'll bring Charlotte with you. She can stay with you. And that made me feel a bit more at ease. There were many times I cried on the shoulder of the nurses there. They were lovely to chat to. Plus, I was surrounded by women who were experiencing the same things. Just being in that environment and knowing that I wasn't alone really, really helped me understand that this is an illness. It needs to be treated. Now my relationship is wonderful with Charlotte. I've went on to have another child. When my second child came along, I approached things really differently. I didn't even open a book. Every week I would visit Belmont Hospital and catch up with the mothers group that was run by the psychologist, and that really helped me. And life is good. Life is really, really good. When I was suffering from postnatal depression, I felt so alone, and I want women to know that postnatal depression doesn't define you. There is a life beyond postnatal depression, and it's tough, but you need to rally whoever's around you, seek help, and you need to get through it.
Fun. I saw a lot of friends. I was very social. But once I got diagnosed, that disappeared, and those people that I had Christmas with now no longer talk to me. I've had people that will walk across the other side of the road if they've seen me coming, and these have been pretty good friends of mine. That makes me feel really sad, because there goes a friendship that I had. I think it's the fact that people don't know how to talk to someone with dementia. And it's not just the fact that you lose your memory, it's the fact that you can't make any decisions at all. Graham, my husband, helps me cope by helping me make decisions that I can't make on my own. So he has to help me cope all the time. So he's got a really big job, and I appreciate him so much. I don't think a lot of people think about how much carers actually work and do their job, and I'm really lucky to have him in my life. He listens to me really, really well now. In fact, he's got a bit of a hearing problem, and sometimes I will say something to him and he'll say, "Beg your pardon," and I'll say, "I can't remember what I said." So it just goes round and round. And we have a laugh about that. I still like to joke and have fun, so I feel the same in that way. My favourite day of the week is to go to Robina Private Hospital. I feel very comfortable there. I feel really safe. I go to a group called the Healthy Minds Group. We don't go in there and be miserable, or we're like going home to family. We just have a great laugh, and just that makes me feel really good and comfortable, and makes me feel me, which is really nice. They all get to know you. It's like an individualised approach, because everyone is important. I see my specialist Penny King every second week, and it just helps me so much. It's a really lovely, safe, secure feeling that I have. I feel at home there. It's not just one thing that helps me cope. My husband helps me cope, my dog helps me cope by giving me cuddles, and the hospital helps me cope. I'm still a person, I'm still the same person that I was, except that my memory and my brain doesn't function as well as it used to. But I still have the same emotions. I still have fun. You know, this is a disease that there is no cure for. That's just the way it is. So I hope I can still be funny for as long as I can be, and be happy for as long as I can be. Because I think I'm a happy person.
The Taliban would rocket our base. You would actually feel the explosion and then hear it. And your heart would be pumping and racing. You can't explain that sort of fear. I did 2 tours of Afghanistan. We would create maps for the forces that were going outside the wire. Well, if we got it wrong, then that could mean people died. So that played very heavily on my mind. Death was always around us. We almost averaged a funeral a week. Your emotions of sadness, grief, anger have to be put aside, and that cold machine component of military drills takes over. You get home and you haven't experienced all those emotions, and they're just lurking in the background. The carnage and the destruction and the violence of it all. Those images are vividly etched into my mind. And with that came the depression, which went hand in hand with the anxiety or the PTSD. Why can't I be normal? Why can't I forget this? Why can't I just get on with normal life and be happy? I had thoughts of suicide. I could not function. And that's where I decided I needed help. Being in Townsville Private Clinic felt safe. It was an environment where I could express myself and deal with everything that was going on within my head with people who understood. It gave me tools to work through what I was feeling. It helped me understand that I wasn't alone. I was introduced to art therapy. It's a way of expressing myself. It takes me away from all the bad things and actually looking at the beautiful things in my life. Townsville Private exposes us to organisations such as Hounds for Healing. Durham is pretty much my best buddy. She accompanies me everywhere. If I'm starting to feel anxious, she will take my mind off whatever's troubling me. All these practices that we've been introduced to have helped make my life more bearable and livable. It's bringing my wife and I closer. It gave me the strength and inspiration to move forward. The future looks great. It looks rosy. I have a purpose for living. It feels good.